Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another video. Today we are doing picks for week 10 of the NFL season. Last week we did alright, we had 8-6. There's quite a few picks that we did not get, and whether it was upset or the upset, just upsetting the favorite to make that long. But we're going to do better this week. Yeah, I can feel it. We're going to start off with the Las Vegas Raiders heading to the Denver Broncos. The Raiders, they ended up losing 30-29 off a 2-point conversion in overtime to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was such a tough loss for them. They'll be facing the Denver Broncos, who just keep finding ways to win. They ended up winning in the fourth quarter against the Texans, 18-15. When I think about this game, I think it's not really going to be all too close. I think the Broncos will win. The Broncos just have that much better of a defense, and the tough part about this game would be the spread, which would be like, okay, how is the Broncos offense going to do? But I'm going to have the Broncos win this game anyways. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons going in and facing the Indianapolis Colts. The Falcons, they lost by an extra point, 24-23. The Colts, they did not look too well against the Steelers. I think the score was 27-17. If it wasn't, I'm mistaking it a little bit. Yeah, the Colts just had a lot of turnovers that game. The Falcons' defense is a tough one and to get right from as well. But at the same time, how's the Falcons? How is the Falcons going to perform in this game? They almost beat the Patriots, yes, but I just think the Colts is a little bit better of a team than the Patriots. So I'm going to side with the Colts. However, I still think this game is going to be a close one, and it may end up being like a missed kick for the Falcons again that loses this game. If I had, what was that thing again? If I had if I had a nickel for every time the Falcons lost a game by a missed kick, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. That saying with the Falcons with the missed kick. Anyway, next up we have the New York Giants going against the Chicago Bears. The Giants, they lost 34-24 against the 49ers this past week. That I do wish the Giants luck for the rest of the season, but this is not the week to do so. They're facing the Chicago Bears, who had an insane win, 47-42 against the Bengals this past week. This is a tough one for the Giants to recover from. I'm going to take the Bears here. The Bears has just been better offensively than the Giants so far this season, especially with the Giants having Cam Scottaboo out. And I don't really trust either defense, so this could be a pretty high-scoring game, but I'm taking the Bears here. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills going up against the Miami Dolphins. Do I even have to go over this game? Yeah, the Bills should easily win this one. I mean, the Bills just beat the Chiefs. The Dolphins just lost to the Ravens by 25 points. Yeah, I think that should sell it. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens going up against the Minnesota Vikings. The Ravens, like I was saying about the Dolphins a little bit ago, they won 28-3. 28-6, I mean. I don't... I guess when I said 25, I thought it was 28-3 in the moment, but no, it's 28-6 against the Dolphins. I don't know why I had 28-3 in my head. Anyways, yeah, the Ravens just look like they're back. And Lamar Jackson's healthy. The defense has been playing well recently. And facing the Vikings, who they ended up winning against the Detroit Lions 27-24 this past week. I think if the Vikings is going to win this game, they're going to lean on the rushing game. If they try to lean on JJ McCarthy, they are not going to win. And I think the Ravens just have figured it out again. The defense has been playing well the past few weeks. Granted, 2 of the last 3 opponents has not the best offensively. At the same time, the Bears' offense did the worst against the Ravens' defense in the recent weeks' Ravens' defense. So let that sink in. Yeah, I'm going to pick the Ravens here. I would hope this was an easier one, but at this point, you never know. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns going up against the New York Jets. This is actually an interesting game because the Browns and the Jets, they both had a bye week this past week. And can I just say it? Okay, the better offense is the Jets. The better defense is the Browns. However, in recent weeks, I have started to not trust the Browns' defense. And the Jets' offense is actually not much better than the Browns' offense right now, then I'm actually going to pick the Jets. And while the Browns has one more win on the season than the Jets do, and the Jets won against the Bengals, who the Bears just beat, but the Jets just, their offense of Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, that should be pretty good. Also, I don't think the in trades so Quinn Williams and Sauce Gardner is going to be like, I guess it could have an effect on their defense, but I don't think the Browns is the opponent that will be that much better because of those losses. So I'm still going to pick the Jets here. And yeah, I just don't trust the Browns at all right now. Next up, we have the New England Patriots going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Patriots, they won a close one, 24-23, and honestly, I feel like any Falcons game is going to be a little bit more on the wish-washy side anyways. The Buccaneers, they had a bye week last week. Last time we saw them, 23-3 against the Saints. Here's the thing, though, with this game, right? As much as the Buccaneers has played the better opponents for their record, their last few games has been questionable. Against the Saints, they should have probably won by more in order for me to have not had these questions. And the week before, against the Lions, I think it was, they just looked so injured. And I get that they had a bye week, they had an extra week to recover, but I'm not entirely sure if this is a game that the Bucs is going to get back on track of, just performance-wise. Because of that, I am going to side with the Patriots in this one. The Patriots have just all the momentum in the world right now. They continue to win, and I'm going to side with them in this game, and I think the Patriots end up winning. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints going up against the Carolina Panthers. At this point, can we just say the Saints lose every single week? Because Tyler Shuck did not play that well for them. And I don't know, man. That one's like not that great. The Panthers, they ended up pulling off a win against the Packers, 16-13. I gotta laugh every single time with that, man. As a Bears fan, I have to. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be relatively. I think it's going to be relatively close in this anyway, since the Panthers aren't that great of a team either. I do think the Panthers will win. I just think it's going to be a little bit on the close side. The Saints, I do think, has the better defense, and they can end up winning games if needed. However, I just don't trust their offense at all. And the Panthers at least have Rico Dowdle to save them on offense. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars going up against the Houston Texans. The Jaguars, they only barely won against the Raiders. And, wait, hold on, I just recognized this. We're going from the Jaguars and the Raiders, and the Broncos and the Texans, to the Broncos and the Raiders, and the Jaguars and the Texans this week. What is this tournament style? Anyways, yeah, the Jaguars won against the Raiders off a failed 2-point conversion, and the Texans, they just lost to the Broncos in a fourth quarter field goal. The key difference that I would say in this game is that CJ Stroud is out, and I don't trust Davis Mills enough to win in this game. I think the Jaguars will win this game, not because they play great, but more so because the Texans are worse. And that win against the Raiders just did not boost me into like say that they are good at all, because they only barely won. So, but hey, you know what? The one positive that the Jaguars have going for them right now, Cam Little. And you know what? It may be Cam Little that wins this game for them. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals going up against the Seattle Seahawks. The Cardinals, they ended up pulling off a win, 27-17 against the Cowboys. And the Seahawks, do I even have to talk about this game? About that game? That was just an utter blowout. Yeah, this one probably will stay relatively close, because that's how Cardinals games usually are. They're never blown out. But the Seahawks will still win this game. The Cardinals had a nice win last week, but they'll come down to earth this week, and I think the Seahawks will win. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams going up against the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams, I mean, come on. They just blew out the Saints. And the 49ers, they won 34-24 against the Giants. These two teams went against relatively bad teams this past week, and this is the second matchup we have them. It's going to be relatively close. The 49ers won the first matchup. I do think the Rams win the second matchup, but I think it is going to be a relatively close game. May go into overtime again, like the first game, but the 49ers keep finding ways to at least keep close with teams, even though they're like very injured. And the Rams, I just trust their offense a little bit more. I just trust their team a little bit more right now. They're the more healthy team, so that helps their case. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions going up against the Commanders. The Lions, they barely lost against the Vikings 27-24. I don't know how that happened still. The Commanders, yeah, they just got blown out. And Mariota in the Commanders games recently has just not played that well. It's going to be the Lions. I just trust the Lions that much more, and I think the Lions will bounce back. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Steelers, well, they ended up winning again against the Colts. I don't know how, but they did. I'm just kidding. It was the Chernobyls. But the Los Angeles Chargers. Why am I going into a brain fog right now? Anyways, the Chargers, they barely won against the Titans. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the Chargers-Titans game, and Joe Alt got injured again, so that's going to hinder the Chargers' offensive power. What Steelers defense is going to come by this week? If they're the good defense, they're obviously going to win. If they're the bad defense, I just see the Chargers winning. I don't know what Steelers team is going to happen this week. I want to say it's going to be more on the bad side, but at the same time, I may as well just pick the Steelers here. They have some sort of black magic anyways, to where they'll probably win this game. And I just don't know what else to say, because the Steelers has not played too well recently, yet they just keep winning. And finally, we have the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Green Bay Packers. The Eagles, they won by this past week, and I guess they just had that great of a week, considering all of their division opponents lost. The Packers. This is just too hilarious. They lost to the Panthers 16-13, and what else can I say? The Eagles is going to win this game. The Packers are not that good. They have a lot of questions to be answered, and the Eagles are just that much better than the Packers this year. Anyways, if you guys liked this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.